What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more on the HermitPack. Now I have a huge surprise today, and unfortunately it's a little bit ruined by the thumbnail of the video, where of course you can see what is behind me right now, but I still think it's going to be pretty awesome to show you guys. I'm really happy with it. Now before I actually turn around and show you the amazing thing that is behind me, last episode I did discuss that I wanted to make a new base, and it probably wouldn't be for a couple episodes, but I had a lot of free time. I only had one class today. I only got like 4 hours of sleep before it, but it was only one differential equations class, so I powered through, got back to my room, and just did a ton of building. I got an idea in my head last night while I was laying in bed, unable to fall asleep, and I really wanted to mess around with it, so I've been working on this for a couple hours now, tweaking things, messing around with them, finally getting into chiseling bits and all that stuff. So pretty happy with how it's turned out. It's not nearly done yet, so please keep that in mind, but there we go. So this is the start of the new base. Now, it took a fair bit of time to clear out this whole area over here. I'll get at a better angle so you can see. This is the same hill right here that kind of came down gradually over here. So I cleared this whole central area out, and I plan on doing a fair bit of terraforming around here eventually. I think it'd be pretty cool once I get the roof on this portion of the building, because this one's not going to go up any higher. I don't know about the other side, but this portion I want to have like sand on top of there and have it kind of spilling off, all that good stuff. But I am super happy with how it turned out. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be added, like up here. There's nothing on this wall. I just kind of wanted to get the skeleton down, unlike down here where I've got some of the glowstone in. I've got glass, kind of some decorations to make it look better. But basically what I was going for was I wanted to keep the sandstone look, and not a lot of blocks look good with sandstone. It's really unfortunate. I even went on to Google and was searching up for blocks that look good with sandstone, and a lot of people seem to think that blue looks good with it. I don't really agree. I think green and orange look the best with it, so I worked the orange in by chiseling some glowstone, and that fixes two problems. It kills two birds with one stone, because you guys absolutely detest the use of torches. And I completely get that. Torches are very boring, and at least 1% of the blocks in a mod pack are going to give light in some way. So there's a lot of different things that you can use. So I decided we'd go with the classic glowstone and chisel it. So it's a little bit more orange than normal. I think these are the neon panels. I really like how they look. I don't know if I want to add anything over them yet, possibly like trapdoors or something. But I also like kind of how this whole thing works together. And then the green is just here to kind of accent it. It's a little bit inside too, just kind of as trim around the walls, but I'm going to find some other ways to work it in here. I think it looks really nice, and honestly, I'm just really happy with the way this is turning out. Why is this here? I don't know why this is here right now. I did a lot of expanding where I actually built the walls, and I realized, do I have? Yeah, I have right here. I realized the wall was an even number right here. So it's an odd number now, but it was an even number before, and that's going to be a problem for what we're going to build today. So I went back and I demolished this entire wall and just moved it back one. So I've been doing a fair bit of work on this, and I mentioned I used some chisel and bits. So I've been using the same chisel design, because you can just wipe it and remake it pretty much as many times as you want, and it allows you to simplify the creation of blocks. If you don't already know, I'll pull out the chisel and bits. I have the diamond chisel right here, really cheap to make. Basically, you can just chip away at blocks, really basically block by block. As you can see here, that little square, you can just kind of like drag it and drag it around, and oh, I don't want to chip off this one. No, how do I cancel this? How do I cancel? There's got to be some way to cancel it. Oh, we're in too deep, guys. Right click, right click. Dang it. Okay, well, I don't know if there's any way to even fix this block, but you know how we can get around this? Boom, I get to show you guys how it works. So we put this down right here. And then we've got the pattern, we've got a pattern on this one. So we're going to clear it. We're going to right click on this, right click on that. Boom, there we go. And I think it should have put all the stuff into the chisel bits bag. So we can throw that in there. It gets a little weird when you start holding shift. It shows their full blocks and all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's what I've done to get these stairs here. And then over here, I did it for this just to add a little bit of depth to it. So I think it's evenly moved in. What is this, like 5 blocks on each side? Yeah, so it adds a little bit of depth to it. I think it looks pretty darn nice. I was tempted to chisel the windows, but unfortunately, unless there's another type of glass that's completely borderless, which I'm sure there is, I just have to make it, this one regains its borders, because of course this is the chiseled glass. It regains its borders when you use the chisel on it and actually start like moving it in, because I thought it'd be cool to make it a little bit thinner than a regular block, but obviously thicker than like a glass pane. And of course I like the texture of this better. But it is nighttime out now. We're gonna have to fight some guys to get back to the base, but we do have some work to do today. I'm gonna like, the video title is probably gonna be something like moving day or a new base. Unfortunately, we're not gonna move stuff over here today just yet. Most of the machines are probably gonna go right in this area right here. But what we're gonna be doing right above this is putting down an environmental tech solar panel. And I guess it's called a solar panel, but it's more like a solar array because it involves a bunch of solar panels working together. Now this is a really cool mod. I've started getting into it a little bit, and I think it's pretty awesome. Because of course this is what gives the void ore miner and the void resource miner and all that stuff. But the way that things are assembled in this mod is pretty unique. So we're going to make all the blocks for it, and then we are going to make the assembler. And basically what you do with that is you're going to click on one main block, and it's going to take all the ones in your inventory, and it's going to assemble like the one that you're trying to make automatically for you. So it simplifies it a lot. It's really nice, and there is a book that you can use to actually get the information on what you need. But unfortunately, I have not killed any cows. As far as I know, I looked through this briefly. I don't think there's any leather in here. And of course, I'm sure, I am 100% positive there's another, sneaky way to make leather or make books. But right now, as far as I can see from this, I don't have the stuff readily available to make a book. And I was lazy, so I just went into my test world, looked up the stuff that we need in the book, wrote it down in a notepad, and now we are here. I just also want to comment that obviously last episode I got a comment that you could use your own blood to make blood balls in the smeltery and then use those for sticky pistons. I know there's a ton of different ways to do stuff in this mod pack, most of which I have no idea are even available, that they're there. So also one thing that I want to note is if you see in chat that set time to 1000, that is what I was mentioning before. I went into my test world to put the solar panel together to make sure this actually works, and then I set the time to day, which I think is 1000. I just said 100, I think, but I just want to let you guys know that that's why that is there. I don't know why it doesn't clear the chat logs when you go from one to another, but it's whatever. So the first thing that we need to do is craft all of this stuff. So really the main parts we need are the structure block tier 1 or above. We're going to go with tier 1 mainly just because it's cheaper. We need one tier 2 for the assembler though. So I think we should have everything other than 2 diamonds over here. So okay, we don't well we'll just we'll just drop it. We didn't want it anyway. So we should have all the stuff that we need over here in our system. So we can go through, and the first thing we're going to make is going to be, we're going to do alabaster structure blocks just because it basically requires you use any basic block from environmental tech. So we're going to use the alabaster. I have a ton of that. I've kind of been dumping all of the rest of it. So it just takes some gold, some redstone, and that block. So we need to make 16 of these, and then we need to make one for the tier 2 structure. So we're going to grab these out. I think we should have enough for 17. Yep, there we go. And then we need to make the tier 2 so we can get rid of all of these. We can get this in there, and then we just grab out the diamonds, and there we go. So there's our tier 2 block. Then we can exit out of that, get our obsidian, and there is the assembler. So, ooh, ready to assemble. So this, again, like I said, is really cool. It works great for basically if you're assembling the void ore miner. I don't know if you can even assemble it manually, but you can at least assemble it automatically using this. So the next thing we need to do is make modifier cores. So those should be right here. Now modifier cores are pretty cool because this one is the base modifier, and you can add a bunch of different ones to your setup, basically any of them that can actually apply to what you're making. Now a lot of these don't actually work, like it says doesn't work on generators. I think the only one that works on this is, where is it? The piezo modifier. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I think it just changes the generation so that when it's raining out or something, you actually still generate like additional stuff compared to what you normally would. So it says it works with solar panels, but we're not going to make that today. I also don't have any mica as far as I'm aware, so eventually we'll get into that because there's no point in not doing it. But you can use the base modifier for the time being, which requires some stone, some clear glass, and then a block of iron. So we got to grab some of that stuff out of this. So I hope we have enough stuff for this actually totally forgot we needed to make this, so we'll grab a stack of iron and bring it over, and then we got to get some stuff from downstairs, because I don't actually think I have any stone over here. So let's get this out. Yeah, I honestly don't think I have any stone over here, which is surprising. I just haven't been using it at all this series. So we're going to cook this down over here, and then we have some nether quartz in here. We need to use some of it, but we're also going to be using it because if you look at this and you look at the clear glass, to make this clear glass you need enriched sand, which requires nether quartz and regular sand. So if we need 4 of these, that means we need 16 overall, which is actually unfortunate because I think that means we're going to be too short on this. So I don't actually know. Actually, no, I don't think we will, because I already made 30 of this. I don't know why I'm putting it in there like that. We can just put this in there and grab out 16. But yeah, so I already made 30 of the glass because that's what we're going to need for the rest of this. But okay, so the sand is good. We can swap. Here, let's swap all of this stuff out. There we go. Get that out of there. Okay, my inventory is a little bit full right now because there's just a lot of stuff that I've been building with. But we're gonna dump. Let's dump some of this sandstone in here. We don't need that because we're not really building right now. So the next thing we're gonna be making again is the modifier core. So we need to make block of iron. What? Oh, I didn't put this iron in there yet. Okay, so we need to make the block of iron. So we need one more. There we go. So we got the blocks of iron in there. The clear glass should already be in there, and then the stone should be in there. So we need to make. Ooh, what's this achievement? Modifications. Oh, the stone is not in there. Okay. 3, 4. Okay, so there we go. We got that. We're gonna have to grab the glass out of here now. Ooh, hit level 35. I'm gonna have to start storing this experience somewhere, because if you guys don't know, I die off camera all the time. Almost every 2 episodes, I'd say, I've died off camera. Sometimes more than that. Sometimes I died like 3 times in a row once. So it's not pretty. But yeah, I need to store this somewhere so that we can actually enchant stuff with it, or really do anything with it at some point. But now what we need to do is start setting up these photovoltaic cells, because we need solar cells. Now we need 9 solar cells, but then we also need 1 solar cell to make the solar panel controller tier 1. I don't think we have enough lapis or really any resources in general to make solar panel controller tier 2, because that overall requires more. I believe the one we're making right now is a 5x5x2. The next one is a 7x7x2. So it goes up, of course, 2 in every dimension. Well, 2 in the X and Z dimension. But yeah, so we need to make 10 of these, which means we need 30 of these. So I don't know how many we can make of these. Hopefully we can make a fair bit. Yeah, I don't actually think... Oh, man, we are going to be short 3. Oh, we're short lapis, too. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Okay, well, that means I'm going to have to gather some lapis off camera, because for some reason, this thing does not get us any lapis, which is really unfortunate. I have it running all the time, but I think we've... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can convert these back either, which kind of annoys me, because I've taken a break from actually putting the farm and like upgrading it, but unfortunately I can't turn those back into lapis, and that would be saving us right now. So I'm gonna have to hop off camera. I'm gonna have to go do a little bit of mining, even though I'm extremely unsuccessful when it comes to finding lapis when I go mining. But that's what I'm going to do, and then we will hop back. Okay, guys, so we are back. Now, I have just been saved by probably the luckiest thing that has happened to me so far in this series. So, as you know, I've been very unlucky with finding lapis, and I went down, I went mining, and obviously this bronze hammer does not have a ton of durability. It's not really a great tool, but it should have a significant amount. Now, the minute I got down into my, like, mining cave, I guess, it's kind of a cave that I just tear through randomly in an attempt to find ores. But I went down there and I immediately found like a decent sized pocket of lapis. So I mined that. Then I go all the way through this bronze hammer, just completely. I tore through everything and I find absolutely none. Now, luckily for me, my inventory really didn't get filled up with much crap, because it was already filled with a bunch of crap. I mean, it's not really crap, but it's kind of random stuff in here at this point. Building stuff and miscellaneous, kind of useless stuff. I did get some enchanted golden boots while I was fighting a zombie. But other than that, I found no lapis. So I come back and I was really hoping in here that I would have found some in this quarry, and luckily I had hit 5, and so I went through, I removed some junk in, you know, some of the second tab, and I still have some junk in here. Mostly it's removing the like galena dust and bauxite dust, stuff that I'm not readily using. Obviously we're not going to be using this resonating redstone crystal right now, but yeah, so I removed this stuff, and it managed to get more clearly in the same chunk, so we now have more than enough. Well, not really more than enough, but we have enough to make what we need. So we need to finish off with the 30 photovoltaic cells, which means we need to put this in here, and thankfully I think we do not have enough nether quartz. Sounds about right for me. Wow. Okay, so now I have everything we need. There's absolutely zero chance of me running out of anything we need with our crafting again this episode. It's actually a blatant lie. That's what I would have said when we first started out the episode. But, you know, that's what happens when I don't have things getting automatically put into this system. Now, someone has told me how to get a ton of nether quartz, and I just have not set it up yet. I will be doing that immediately after this episode, because clearly I am incapable of gathering sufficient resources for myself before an episode. But we should be good to finish this off now. Finally, that should not be a lie. I do not believe that to be a lie. Okay, there we go. We are done with that. Now what we need to do is finish actually making these solar panels. So we can go through right here, the solar cells. We can click these in, and we should make, oh, these need to all go in there. Put those in there, and we should get 10. Okay, we got 10. That's the most important part. Now we need to make some blocks of lapis. So there we go. It should be 4. Now while we're finishing up this craft here, I can tell you guys what I would consider to be a relatively funny story. It's not really a funny story. You probably only get it if you've been to or through college, but I took what's considered general chemistry in my first year of college, obviously, because I'm a chemical engineering major. So I did that, and I basically thought most of this stuff is not the most useful stuff. And one of the things was looking at the half-life of radioactive isotopes, and basically that just means the half-life is the amount of time it will take for it to decay in half, and it's got, you know, everything has a certain decay rate and all that. And so I really didn't think much of it at the time. Is that even? I don't know if this is even, but I didn't think much of it at the time. And today I was in my differential equations class, and I had a quiz, and I hadn't really studied for the quiz, and my professor hands out the paper, and I look at it, and it is a half-life question, and I could not remember for the life of me the equation, like the methodology to use to get to the end equation, but I remembered from general chemistry the equation strictly for the half-life of something, so I put that on my paper, and I worked backwards. So moral of the story here, I thought it was pretty funny. It was pretty sad, honestly. Moral of the story, though, is stuff is almost always useful. Random information, you know? Like, maybe sometime in your life you're going to need to know how many teeth a pig has in its mouth. Obviously, that is not remotely close to the same thing, but, you know, one is chemistry and one is random animal facts. But, you know, I just thought it was a funny little story that happened to me earlier today. I was running on like 4 hours of sleep, so yeah. But what we need to do now is place down this solar panel controller tier 1 block. It's going to go right in the center. I'm going to be putting it down right up here. That's kind of why I made this floor, why I made it an odd number. And I kind of want it to be slightly centralized, and then we're just going to put down conduits and run it downstairs to our machines eventually. It should max out at roughly like 770. I think I want to say, is it EU per tick, RF per tick? I don't even know. I really wish I knew, but I don't. I want to say it's RF per tick, but it should be 770. And then the next tier up, which is honestly not a ton more blocks, is 4,400. So it's a big upgrade. That one's going to be 7 by 7, but those should both fit perfectly fine in this area. So we're going to put these down, and basically once this one's down, that's all we need to do. So now comes the cool part. We should have everything in our inventory perfectly fine, which means we are going to be taking this assembler, and it says right click on controllers to assemble, so that is this block, and it kind of, oh gosh, okay, oh my gosh, can it let me click on the block? Okay, there we go. Multi-block assembly complete. It tells you in chat, so you know when you're good to go. That's actually really useful because when you're assembling the lightning rod, I think you can't actually see how far up it's going, so you just hold down right click until it tells you in chat. Now, I was tempted to move this down a layer just because of how it looks right here, and I might actually do that, but the only problem is I don't know if I want this to be the ceiling of the floor below us. I kind of want to be able to hide the conduits in the floor, so I'll have to figure out some way to kind of work this in up here, and yeah, we should be able to, with the fact that we have kind of like a, I guess it would be a 2-block technically gap between the wall. We could just move this up one, really no problem, but unfortunately we can't actually access anything in this right now. I don't think if we click on this, there's nowhere to right click and see like an actual display on what it's generating. I don't know if it has internal storage. We just need to plug a conduit into that. So that's where we're going to leave it for today on this. So a couple things that I wanted to get your guys' opinion on the base. I'm really happy with it. I'm assuming you guys will be too. Usually when I'm happy with something, you guys are, because although I'm not a very good builder, usually I know when something is good or bad. And you know, I was happy with this house over here. I think it's really cool for a beginner house, but it's not anything fancy, it's not anything big, and obviously when you start doing stuff that are on a large scale, 5 times mechanism ore processing, for example, you need a lot of space, or for really kind of random things that are just fun to do, for, you know, oh, I want to process every single block that I need for my base, and I want to have this whole setup, so I need to be generating sand for it, and I need to be processing it, and all these different things, and auto crafting it. Stuff like that is really cool to make and automate. I know I saw, I think it's Exuma's last video, is him making a auto brewing setup that's very, very large, and it looks very cool, but it's one of those things that you don't need it. It's not integral to playing modded Minecraft. Honestly, I never use potions ever, but it looks really cool, and it's something fun to do, to mess around with different mods, and that requires a lot of open space, which is what I'm looking to do here. So this whole wall right here is going to get knocked down and pushed back that way, and eventually this whole area will be open in here, possibly going to make another floor or an extremely lofted ceiling over here. I really like in here that this is going to be a lofted ceiling. Right here, I'm probably going to put a chisel and bits railing on the edge of this so that we don't fall off, and then this right here will just be left as is. So really, there's a lot of ideas that I've got flowing for this, but feel free to put any ideas that you have in chat, because you guys are honestly, half the time you're a better builder than me, and then half the time you're like the same level builder as me, I guess, because it's really hard to be worse than me. So if you want to put those in chat, feel free to. I've got a fair bit of free time coming up. I haven't gotten a ton of homework yet this semester. But another thing that I wanted to talk about quickly, and it's nighttime, so there's probably going to be stuff spawning and it's going to kill me, but I know I've been putting on hold the Surviving With series, and it really comes down to what, you know, I like recording, but it also comes down to what you guys like to see. And I know it's a horrible way to base how I record, but I base it off of likes, because honestly, when I uploaded this series, and the first video got like over 120 likes in the first 24 hours, I was like, okay, clearly people want to see this. And I know my channel was kind of made more popular. I don't really want to say popular by Surviving With series, but that's where it got a lot of attention. And I kind of feel like I have to stick with that. But I actually have been thoroughly enjoying recording this mod pack. And even if it does not lead to a ton of channel growth, as long as you guys are enjoying it too, that's what's important to me. So I know I always ask for your feedback and all of that stuff, but I'm not even asking for feedback now. I just want to give you guys a heads up. The Surviving With series will continue, but right now I don't have as much motivation to play them. I don't know why, but I've been having a ton more fun playing, you know, with this mod pack. It's a great mod pack, and it's kind of refreshing for me to have all this different stuff to do and not be confined to doing tutorial-like videos. Instead, I can just kind of come on the world, play around for a bit, get stuff set, and as you can see today, clearly not get stuff set well enough, and then just hop on, record, you know, when I have the time, and that's that. So it's a lot more relaxing for me, it's a lot easier for me. So really, if you guys are liking it the same amount, or possibly even more, that is phenomenal. And lastly, I wanted to talk about some rebranding that I'm going to be doing on the channel. It was mentioned in the comments a couple episodes ago, and someone said, you know, are you going to have the Pikachu skin forever and all this different stuff? So I've decided I'm going to be looking for, you know, a new skin, and I'm probably going to I think you can like change the name that shows up with your channel. I'm going to change it to DrRage. The only reason I'm going to do that is because when people ask me my name on my channel, and I'm like, oh, DrRageHard, it's not that I don't rage. The name was supposed to be like ironic, honestly, that because I never really rage at stuff, but people take it, especially adults, in a very inappropriate way. And they look at me and I'm like, okay, you know, get your head out of the gutter. because I never made it like that. Obviously, if you don't understand gaming, you don't understand the word rage in terms of, video games. And so chances are I'm going to be renaming it that, so when people ask me, the name of my channel, it's not as awkward. But yeah, that's a heads up. I'm going to be trying to get some new channel art, probably commissioning some, which will be pretty awesome. So I just thought I'd give you guys a heads up on that. But I'm going to stop kind of droning on at the end of this video. I know I usually give my news updates at the end because the only people that are going to care will stay to the end of the video. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.